What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson, Clay Smith, and we brought on a special guest, Brian Crowder. This is going to be season 2 of the Wash Bros podcast.
Live from 864 Sound in Greenville, South Carolina, it's the Wash Bros podcast with your hosts, Matt Jackson and Clay Smith.
So we're going to kick off the year, and we're going to bring in a good friend of ours and ex-competitor.
Local ex-competitor.
Exactly.
Greenville Ballers. That's what we call ourselves, the Greenville Ballers.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So season 2, I'm excited about season 2, having probably a couple, other, maybe some more competitors, other guys doing some big stuff in the area, and trying to teach a couple people around the country, hopefully around the country. That's what we're trying. That's what our end game is, right? Trying to get some people out there. And anyway, let's kick it off. Brian, we're glad to have you here. Thanks for coming on the Wash Bros. You get to be the lucky special number 1 guest.
I'm honored. I finally made it on the Wash Bros. I've been harassing you guys.
You get the fancy microphone and the tall seat.
Yeah, you got the special microphone. We should have painted it gold for you.
Right.
Yeah. So tell us a little about yourself. We know that you were a big time pressure washer in our area, obviously we kind of looked up to you a little bit and tried to get some answers from you. So that's one of the reasons I'm kind of excited to have you on here. Maybe we can teach these guys out here that maybe listen to our show a couple of things that we might do that help us be successful.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't know how big I was, but I guess in the pressure washing world, you get to a certain point, you kind of are getting away from some of the owner-operator look. So short story, I owned Curb Appeal Solutions, which was a full-service wash company here in the upstate. Started it 10 years ago when I moved to Greenville from Southern California. Came here when I was 35, had 2 little kids, and had a window cleaning business out in San Diego, and didn't know anyone, didn't know anything. Just started doing what I was going to do, and before you knew it, we grew to a pretty nice little wash company, and I was able to sell it and get out of washing January 1st of this year.
That's awesome, man. I know that's kind of exciting to maybe move on to that next thing. But I was kind of looking at, kind of doing some research on your company before we came out here and did some recording for this. And noticed it was a very, very reputable company. You had multiple services, like obviously you sold it, so it's going in the right direction, right? And you had over 700 and something reviews. I mean, that alone is very impressive. And I know as a business owner myself, and I know Matt knows, I mean, we push those, to the ends of the earth to try to get those. And I know how hard it is. I mean, you just can't make somebody just write a 5-star review, right? I mean, and to say that you had over 700 of them just from that one company speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think 700 on Google, and then I'm probably well over 1,000 on all review channels.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I think it was probably 2015-ish. I just realized, like, if we're all doing the same thing, we're all saying the same thing, you have to, what's going to be different about us? And I'm like, I'm just going to go heavy trying to get reviews.
The Google reviews.
It's smart. It's kind of like where we are now. It's like everything is evolved, and then we kind of change like be different from everybody else, and then now everybody else is catching up. So it's like as you had to add reviews, we're here sitting and thinking like, all right, well, what's that next thing we have to do to be different and get ahead of the competition?
Yeah, it's all about, like I've told you many times, all about how can I be 10 steps ahead of everybody else, because we're so saturated in our market here. So it's all about thinking outside the box. How can you set yourself apart? How can you be 10 steps ahead of all these guys that are actually starting out? Because anybody can buy a pressure washer, right? It's the new landscaping.
And people can be good at marketing and copy the exact same thing you do.
Yeah.
So it's all about how do you really separate yourself from the people that are just in it for quick money and or they're not, or they're just following the path of everything. It's like you want to kind of be a trendsetter as opposed to just a follower.
Yeah, I think just like in the reviews, getting reviews, one, you got to do good work so people want to review you. But, you kind of have to reverse engineer, what do I like about a good service when I go do something? What motivates me to want to leave a review? So it's really from the very moment the customer finds you on, Google, Facebook, wherever the marketing channel, you're setting the tone for what the rest of the service is going to do. So if you read a lot of my reviews, they'll start talking about the moment they first visited the website, the office called them, the technicians, how the quote went. So the whole process pushes them towards this review. And you start requesting that review from the very first point of contact.
Yeah, you're already prepping them.
Like we're, our goal, Matt, is to provide you 5-star service. So by the time we're done with this service, we hope that you'd be able to refer us to your friends or family and give us a 5-star review on Google.
Yep.
That's our goal. So, and then, you can use different software programs to generate review links for you. There's all sorts of different stuff out there. Everyone knows about that now. And then, just asking for it. It became part of our core values. So our core value was safety, teamwork, attitude, relentless, which spells the word STAR. It was in the shop. We talked about it with the guys a lot. So it just kind of has to be part of your culture. What kind of company are we going to be, and what kind of service? We're providing a service. The washing is whatever. Anyone can wash a house, but developing a reputation or a way of doing things where people want to do something for you in return, that's really the goal.
A way of doing business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all about setting the right procedures, making everybody happy, and trying to be consistent with it. That's what I tell. A lot of customers, they drop their jaws when I tell them this at the end. Their house looks great, whatever. I always make sure I walk the house with a customer before I leave. And a lot of times we get in the conversation of, hey, there may be 100 better washers out there than me, but as far as doing business and customer service, you're probably not going to find a better one out there. And I think that's going to, 9 times out of 10, the customer service and the way you do business is going to win the customer versus how good you wash.
What that old saying is, a Jim Rohn, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Right.
And so they're not going to remember their house went from green to clean.
Yeah.
They're going to remember man, they were really nice on the phone. They were clean cut. They were respectful. They asked me questions. And so the customer experience is a crucial part of developing those reviews and good reputation.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. That's my end goal. Obviously, we walk the house, make sure there's no damages beforehand. If there's any cracks in any windows, any chips where the lawnmower knocked some rock into the vinyl, where there's holes all in the vinyl and stuff. I always make sure I point stuff out like that, and because you don't want that issue later on.
Yep, it's going above and beyond.
Correct.
With a little CYA.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead and get your chalk out and circle it and everything.
Yeah, right.
It's not me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's cool. So essentially you're saying you're not just creating a business where you're running everything. And that's what I think a lot of people get stuck in, is like the owner-operator trap, where they're like, oh, nobody's going to outwork me. I deliver the best customer service. I have this, and this. And then you're able to pretty much create core values and systems where your employees are able to replicate you. So like you look at somebody with tons of reviews, it's going to be really hard to do that volume by yourself and maintain that status without having a good team behind you.
Exactly.
So like, what were good things that you learned while you were building your team, that like mistakes that you made early on? Say like where I'm at in my business, where I got a smaller team, and then Clay, where he's working on building a team now. Like, what advice would you give somebody like me or Clay?
Well, I always heard this saying, begin with the end in mind, and then reverse engineering from there. And so I think the first step is clarity. What do I want this to be? There's nothing wrong being an owner-operator. I did that for years. I started washing windows in my mid-20s in San Diego. Had a nice lifestyle business. I made good money. We started our little family. Came out here. I had a nice lifestyle business. Was doing 6 figures by myself. Could take time off when I wanted to take time off. But then I was like, I'm almost 40. I do not want to be washing these houses all day, every day. And so it was kind of like this aha moment of like, okay, what do I want this to be? Because sometimes I think we end up working for the business, but the business should be working for me. And so having like those clear boundaries of like, there will always be a customer who says, I need you on Saturday. It'll always happen. But if the business works for me, it's like, no, I don't work on Saturdays. I'll find another customer. So getting really clear, clarity. So that's the first step is, clarity. What do I want the business to be? Do I want to scale it up, multiple trucks? That's cool. But how do I get to multiple trucks? Do I want it to have just, 2 trucks? Make, 2 trucks, you can probably do $600-700K a year and, have a nice little business. So it's all kind of like, what do I want it to be? Go from there. Another big major thing is, if you want to grow your business, is you have to get off the truck. And so a trap that we can fall into is, no one will wash a house as good as me. No one will do this as good as me. And that's just baloney. We're not putting a man on the moon. we're spraying bleaching water on a house.
Don't give away our secret.
and we're rinsing it off, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of
sometimes we just spray bleach on that.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we decide to nuke everything and kill all the plants. Now, there will be obstacles with employees, but the thing, ask yourself, what am I doing? Well, now when it's a $20 an hour job now. I don't know if it's a $20 an hour job, but that's the world we live in. If I'm washing houses, I'm doing a $20 an hour job. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I want to be doing a $80 to $100 an hour job, and that's not me washing houses.
That's true.
So the biggest thing to do to grow is to get off the truck. Well, how do you get off the truck? Well, that's more reverse engineering. There's lots of good books and resources. For me, I invested in business coaching. It was the winter of 2018 to 19, because I was just turning 40, and I got this big whiteboard out, and I got really clear, like what I wanted to do this year. I wrote it all out, and I knew how to get to here, but I didn't know how to get to there. Mm-hmm. So all of us have like ability to get to a certain point.
Exactly.
And we all have different talents and abilities, and one guy can get to here, but there's always someone smarter than you, someone who's done it better than you, and you need to get with those guys. So, Michael Jordan had a coach, Tiger Woods has a coach, Jeff Bezos had business coaches. These guys have coaches. So I invested in business coaching. I'll give a shout out. I'll say who if you guys want me to, if we don't want to do that. Right. So I signed up with Conquer. So a lot of you, it's in the industry right now. So I did Conquer.
Yep.
And it was expensive. It was like $800 a month. $800 a month. I was like, that's so much money, but you have skin in the game. You get that accountability. You get the business systems. That first month of Conquer, just getting that confidence and some systems, hiring an employee. My first month of Conquer, I think I did like $37,000. Never done anything close to that.
Nice.
And so then just kind of went from there. So business coaching was good, and then kind of going from there. So that's kind of like we can unpack that more if you want. But
so when you said you did that 37, did you have a team in place already, or did Conquer allow you to like hire?
I think what Conquer did for me is it gave you, because you're with a business coach. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was blessed. My first business coach was Brandon Vaughn. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the industry, you know who Brandon Vaughn is. He had a soft wash business in the Pacific Northwest doing $4 or $5 million a year. Mm-hmm. So you're with a guy who just kind of like
gets it and
gives you confidence and be like, no, you just do this, you just do that, mm-hmm. you just do this, you just do that. Mm-hmm. And like, boom, it all started happening. Mm-hmm. So I hired a guy and got him in a truck. I had a truck, so we're doing 2 trucks. And then by June of that year, I had 2 trucks, 4 employees. Mm-hmm. And there were some setbacks after that. Kind of had to learn some lessons and stuff. But yeah, so that person who's like, yeah, this is what you do. Mm-hmm. This is the roadmap. This is what you do. And then, when you have problems, you go crying to them and mm-hmm. ripping your hair out. You got someone to help you out.
So they kind of gave you that reassurance, I guess.
Yeah. It's like there's no map. You just got to figure it out.
And I think that, I think it's kind of different for everybody. It's like you kind of want to get in your own groove and do it the own way, but obviously it's kind of the same steps that you have to take, but everybody's going to have their own way of doing things. Like, I don't think there's a strict blueprint on how to scale your business.
It's true.
No, there's not. I mean, there's more than one way to, skin the cat.
Yeah.
But there are certain principles to business that are tried and true mm-hmm. and work. Right. And so being with, people who have done it, been there, hear their crazy stories. It buys you time mm-hmm. of not having to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like that's just.
And somebody to check you, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we can be so glued to our own lane and like in the hustler mode. And it makes me think of like way back in the day with Clay. He was like doing big time numbers with a 4-gallon a minute machine. Oh. And I was like, I got an 8-gallon a minute machine that's just sitting here. I can sell it to you for like a friends and family deal.
It may have been you. I don't remember.
And then you're like, whoa, this is sick. Yeah. I was like, that same growth is going to be like, once you get that second truck fired up, you're going to be like, whoa,
yeah,
this is sick.
And so then probably I got out of the truck. I was in and out of the truck a little bit. Then COVID hit. And so I had to rescale. It ended up being a great year. I mean, last year, I don't know how many houses we did. Maybe we did 800 houses. I literally, that business, I didn't go in the field. I didn't do anything. I didn't wash one house. Mm-hmm. I didn't really hire. In the last couple of years, I haven't washed a house. Probably the last 3 years, I've maybe washed 10 houses.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And then you show up to have fun. Or
just kind of checking on the guys.
So you probably forgot the bleach smell, I guess.
Yeah. So I was busy the other day. I was like, oh, it smells kind of good. Like,
what's that? I'll tell my wife.
Like, this is fun.
My wife gets mad about the smell. I'm like, honey, that smells like money.
Exactly.
It smells like the pool boy.
Money.
That smells clean.
Yeah, it smells like money. Yeah, for sure. So kind of tell us, so you've kind of transitioned out of washing and now we are doing
concrete floor coatings. And I'm not going to say that that's kind of like the big thing in the industry right now.
Yeah, you don't want to push everybody to it. It's
well,
going to be saturated.
Well, it's not washing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of failures in it. It's a totally different beast. I kind of got into it. I was going to partner up with the guy and he was going to do it. And I'll market it and kind of build the systems. Didn't really work out. So I kind of got stuck with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then what was nice about it was everything I had learned over the last few years, I didn't have to waste time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So instantly we were able to implement our systems, how we're going to do things. With that business, I was installing some floors just to learn it and kind of scale it up. But last year, I did not start this business to install floors myself. It's really hard work. It's a young man's game.
Yeah, you got a great crew.
So it's kind of like, we did math.
They did. Oh yeah. You're like the pressure washing guy. You do all the pressure washing guys' shops.
Yeah. So anyways, so doing that now, and it's a good business. And so I kind of was at a point where it's like, do I want to do both? Do I want to get rid of one? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, let's just see if we can
focus on one, right?
Yeah, see if we can sell the pressure washing. I was able to find a guy to buy it.
So was so at the end of the day, I know you said it's a little different, but at the end of the day, business is business, right? So you're already a few steps ahead in knowing how to market a company and how to deal with employees and how to deal with customers and maybe obviously set that expectation for the company, right? And build a another brand. I think that's pretty exciting. I mean, hopefully, maybe 10, 15 years down the road, I can do the same with something else. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. If anything, it gave me confidence.
Yeah.
I know how to do this. The business is a business, and
you're
start another business.
You're probably not as nervous as you was when you did the other thing,
totally.
Right? Yeah.
It probably gets more boring.
Yeah.
It becomes
just like a job. Yeah.
I remember when I first was hiring people for washing, I'd lay in bed at night and I'd tell my wife, my head feels hot right now because I was just thinking about what was going on and what we were doing and how
we're going to do payroll and all that
this stuff. And with the new business, it was like, get it going, figure it out, job ad out, hire 2 guys, get it going, hire a salesman, boom, hire 2 more guys, get another truck out there. And just kind of, replicate itself, build something that's replicatable. Were
you able to tap into your customer list of the pressure washing, or you try to do it completely separate?
Separate. We've been able to do a few floors for people we've marketed to them, but it didn't get as many as I thought I would.
Yeah,
you would think that would intertwine.
Yeah, I was like, I got 4,000 people in the customer base. I'm gonna hit them hard.
Yeah,
and we've done a few, but. It is what it is.
But is the marketing kind of the same with the washing versus that, or
we're probably more Facebooky with this because it's different. It's not you're not going to get the direct searches for a garage floor, washing my house.
Yeah.
So you got to be more interruptive with it.
You're selling once, I guess, more than I need to clean my house.
Yeah. More so of a luxury type thing.
Yeah, washing is definitely a want and a need. Whereas this is a pure. I want a cool floor.
Yeah, less HOA letter customers and more. Yeah, I want this for my Porsche.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah, so you're targeting more of the luxury custom type homes, and then I'm wondering would you say you would expand the area that you cover with that service, or do you just try to stay in the upstate?
That's a good question. I mean, begin with the end in mind. So it's kind of I'm kind of the last. Because we've been kind of going through a transition between the 2 businesses and with employees, who's going to stick where. So the last week or so, I've really been kind of what is the ultimate goal for this business? And knowing what kind of customer base you need for the amount of truck. It needs, compared to washing, the customer base has to be a certain size. Our market's not super huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it's almost like playing chess.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I could probably support 3 trucks in our market fairly comfortably about 9-10 months out of the year. So
heck yeah.
I'm just trying to, got to push out, and you got to drive, and the jobs are all day. They go to work. We do 4-day weeks. On Thursday, the guys work till 8:30 at night.
Because I guess you can't just stop midway through and say we're coming back.
And so you got to have a certain kind of guy working for you.
Yeah.
Washers, you kind of get a certain mindset.
Plus attention to detail. Washing, you can miss a spot here or there, and it's not as obvious as my floor's backing up at this.
I tried to do a basement at my old house, and it did not look like your floors.
Yeah, it's just expensive. It's just washing. You have a problem. It's here's $100 for the pot or the plant, or I'll go wash this wall again. We got to rip out a floor.
Yeah.
That's thousands of dollars of lost opportunity, doing the floor again. So, there's problems are big problems. They're not simple problems to fix. So that can be a little stressful.
Yeah.
We haven't had too many, thankfully, but when they do come up, you're like, oh, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt.
So how long has the home run been in? Just a couple years now?
Yeah. So I guess 2.5 years, and really like 2.5 years. Yeah, maybe 2 years of pushing it hard.
I remember seeing your trailer out, I think, when it first started, like towards Tryon and stuff like that. So,
and doing, one thing I learned with like the washing is, developing a brand. I developed it slowly with Curb Appeal, realizing with washing is like we had a brand right out of the box. So people are like, are you a franchise? Are you this or that? Just because everything right from the start has a look to it. It's not like this slow, like it looks clippy art today, and then you slowly morph it into something that looks better.
I was looking at my old clothes actually earlier before I came here. My old stuff didn't even really have a logo, and you don't realize it at the time, I don't think. Like you said, the clip art stuff. That's how my first logo looked.
It's almost like a badge of honor for people to be like budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the energy you're putting out.
Or you see everyone has like that same like house.
Oh yeah, the ridge of the roof.
Vector.
I know where you got this.
Yeah. I have a lot of people, reach out to me, and I don't look down on it or anything, but I know they're not going to listen to me when I tell them that, hey, spend some money in your company, and then I just tell them to watch the Wash Bros. So
there you go.
Yeah. Luckily, you feed all the inbox requests of the newbies.
Oh my. Yeah, I guess because they seen how quickly I done things. I guess.
I just don't accept new friend requests.
Yeah. No, if you want to be helpful because people helped you out. But then eventually you're just like, I just don't have time to like.
Exactly.
Or it's like, I did a lot of my own research first. I'd YouTube and go on the boards and stuff. Like, what have you done already?
Especially like back in your day, or like when I started, it was like Pressure Washing Resource Association or one of those. Yeah. And then you have to search a forum for it.
When I first started, the Facebook groups weren't that big, and it was all WCR and PWR and.
Yeah, like I lucked into getting into pressure washing just because it's like I did in college, and it's like I had a pressure washer. Nowadays, kids are watching TikTok and they're how to make $1,000 a day, and they're buying a $20,000 skid on their parents' credit score.
Oh my god!
Well, they get them cheap. You get a couple,
Yeah.
The resale market. I find that with the coatings business, guys got really excited about it, and you can find these $25,000 grinders now for $10,000, $12,000.
Oh wow!
I'd imagine there's. Like in all these service-based businesses, there might be like a pullback with whatever recession, or everybody seemed to jump into it. It's like the new gold rush. Like when COVID hit, people left their office jobs and they're like, oh, we're going to get into the trades. And it'd be interesting to see like the next 3 to 5 years if you get guys sticking with it.
So, I've seen a lot of guys get out of this business, and it seems like every year it's, that I've been in it, it's like double what actually left. Yeah. It just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And like I said, it's like the new landscape company.